Is your car showing the wrong outside temperature on the dashboard, or is the air conditioning blowing warm air when it should be freezing cold? If you have plugged in your scanner and found the code P0071, you are dealing with an ambient air temperature sensor performance issue. This generic powertrain code applies to all OBDII equipped vehicles, but it is notably common in brands like Ford, Chrysler, BMW, and Volkswagen. Let us break down what is actually happening under the hood. The ambient air temperature, or AAT sensor, is responsible for converting the outside air temperature into an electrical signal that your car's Powertrain Control Module, known as the PCM, can understand. The computer uses this information mainly to regulate your automatic climate control and to display the outside temperature on your instrument cluster. The computer is smart. It cross-references the reading from this sensor with two others, which are the intake air temperature sensor and the engine coolant temperature sensor. When you start your car after it has been sitting for a long time, the computer expects all three of these sensors to show roughly the same temperature. If the AAT sensor reading varies too much from the others, or if the data looks erratic while the engine is warmed up, the system triggers the P0071 code. The symptoms are pretty easy to spot. Aside from the check engine light, your overhead console might display a temperature that makes no sense, and your climate control system might act confused, either not cooling enough or behaving erratically. While this is usually an electrical problem, mechanical issues happen too. Sometimes the sensor simply falls out of its mounting bracket behind the grille and hangs down by the wires, picking up heat from the radiator instead of the outside air. Before you buy any parts, check for technical service bulletins for your specific vehicle, as this might be a known issue with a quick manufacturer fix. If not, locate the sensor, which is typically in front of the radiator, inspect the wiring for any scrapes, burns, or corrosion. Corrosion is a big killer here because of where the sensor lives. You can test the sensor with a digital volt-ohm meter. With the car off and the sensor unplugged, measure the resistance across the sensor pins and compare it to a temperature resistance chart for your car. If you see 0 ohms or infinite resistance, which usually shows up as OL on the meter, the sensor is dead. You also need to check the wiring going back to the computer. With the ignition on, one wire should have 5 volts or a reference signal. If you bridge the 2 pins on the harness side with a jumper wire, the temperature reading on your scanner should spike to a very high value. If you get no response or no voltage, you are looking at a wiring repair between the sensor and the PCM. If all the wiring checks out, replacing the sensor is your most likely fix.